wanted to make a video about some interesting book. So the author is Tony Bushby and the name of the book is The Bible Fraud. And I found online that you can read the first 2 chapters free. So I was going through those chapters and examining, investigating the claims, the arguments that the author is giving. So I wanted to give a critic. Okay, so I find out that this book is not the only one. There are many websites that people are actually speaking about these things, and they are trying to discard the evidence we have, and they want to show that our evidence is false and their evidence is true. And they started bringing up new manuscripts to prove that Christianity is made up. They use titles like scholar to show authority we should trust. But it's all deception, which God prophesied that would come upon the world. Before I start with the first arguments, I wanted to say something. Christians, pray that your faith does not rely on arguments and human teachings. I pray that your faith would rely on the power of God, as Paul is saying, I did not came to you with a high exalted speech, but with the power of God, so that your faith does not rely on human wisdom, but on the power of God. So, friends, Christians, I caught a mosquito. Friends, Christians, pray like that, because there will be a time when even the best answers would satisfy your soul. You will become hungry for the power of God, for the miracles, for His manifestation. And you should pray for that, for He will do that. Okay, let's see now. The first thing that we can see on the book is this quote which Eusebius said. And the quote goes like this. This is from the page cover. It's an act of virtue to deceive and lie, when by such means the interest of the church might be promoted. Okay, so this is the quote on the page cover. It says Eusebius. And do we know who is Eusebius? Eusebius is a church father from the 4th century who lived in the time in the Roman Empire, and he was kind of like a counselor or teacher to Constantine, the emperor. Constantine was interested in Christian doctrines, and Eusebius was there to speak with him, teach him. So Eusebius was a father, we can say teacher, priest in the church. So the point of the author, actually Tony Bushby, the point is they would use our own weapon against us. And this is what they are trying to do. So, is this really what Eusebius is saying? Many people will say yes, because they are really lazy to search and find the source of the quote. But I found the source of the quote, and I want to show you what it really says. Okay, this is the real quote from Eusebius. I found it. and this is what it says with the context. To these defects in the moral system of the age must be added two principal errors, now well nigh publicly adopted and from which afterwards immense evil resulted. The first principal error was that to deceive and lie is a virtue when religion can be promoted by it. The other principal error, that errors in religion, when maintained and adhered to after proper admonition, ought to be visited with penalties and punishments. So, the website of this book, The Bible Fraud, says that Tony Bushby is a scholar. Well, my question to you is, to the writer, is how can you call yourself a scholar when you do such obvious deception? You actually took the quote out of the context. That is so wrong and vicious. Not just taking it out of context, but also not quoting it correctly. You say, when by such means the interest of the church might be promoted, and it says, when religion can be promoted by it. So when he says religion, does he mean the church or false religions? You're not quoting right, and you're quoting out of context. Okay. So guys, friends, all viewers, don't trust man who actually takes words out of context, not quoting them right, for attacking Christianity. Second quote, on the book cover also, Pope Leo X. So, how well we know what a profitable superstition this fable of Christ has been for us. Okay, one more quote. So, this time he gives the source. Where did he found this quote? So I found this website. Actually, I am surprised. Only one website I found that actually speaks and gives a critic against this book. Nothing else on the internet. I'm amazed. I'm amazed. So either Christians don't consider this book as something serious, so that we should refute, or they're afraid to read it and give their opinion. So it's one of those two. That's why there is no other giving a critic of this book. So the website is called Tectonics. I'm gonna post it in the description below. All the links that I'm going to mention, I'm gonna post them down on the description video. This website Tectonics say that they were researching the source of this quote, and it's not on this page. It is in Encyclopedia Britannica, but it's on another place. Okay, that's one thing. The other thing is Encyclopedia Britannica is not given the source. Where did they got this quote? So the researcher from the website Tectonics, he found out where is this quote from. We're gonna reveal now. This quote exists in a drama play. written by John Bale. So it's not from the words of Pope Leo himself. It's not in a book of the church. It's actually a drama play. And who was John Bale? John Bale, Englishman. He joined the Carmelites and was educated at Cambridge. He was first exposed to Protestant ideals. He abandoned the order by 1535 and enjoyed the protection and patronage of leading pro-Protestant factions in the court of Henry VIII. During this time, he wrote a number of plays and several tracts that attacked the papacy. The quote can be found in the written play The Pageant of Popes. So that means Pope Leo didn't say that quote. John Bale made it up to ridicule the papacy. Again, one more quote that is actually false. Again, the author Tony Booshby is lying, deceiving people by presenting false facts. Actually, I can say that this is distorted truth. So if it's distorted, that truth is not used for the sake of truth. It's used to destroy. When we are here, when I mentioned already the truth is like a knife. You can use it to cook and to make it useful, or you can use it to stab and kill. So it's still the knife, but how do you use it? So it's the same way with the truth. If you misuse the truth, then you are using it for destroying, not for building. And this is what Tony Booshby is doing with his book, starting from the cover page. He is quoting a quote that was written by John Bale. It was made up by John Bale to ridicule the papacy. And the quote exists in a book. We can find it. But what Tony is trying to do is to say that Pope Leo said that. But that's not true. If you want to be truthful and present real facts, then don't distort the truth. Okay, I'm gonna speak about one more argument from this book. That is the Talmud and the Book of Elksai. Okay, so Tony Booshby, the writer, he is trying to present the Talmud as a comprehensive original records reporting the life of Rabbi Jesus. How did you came to this conclusion? As much as I was going through some teachings of the Talmud, examining, investigating, I came to find out that whatever the Talmud is speaking about Jesus is definitely made up. So I'll show you why. He also speaks about Christians burning the Book of Elksai, the Talmud, in this anti-pope Benedict VIII. He destroyed all copies of the Book of Elksai, and then Bishop Hippolytus of Rome and Saint Epiphanes of Salamis, they burned the Talmud, the Palestinian and Babylonian Talmud. So, Tony is trying to present again a truth, but this time he mixes it with a lie. He wants to say that the church was afraid of those books, and they were afraid that they will reveal the secret of Christianity, and that's why they burned the evidence. So this is what Tony is actually, that's what he wants to present. And because of this, his argument, he thinks that the Talmud is a trustworthy book. Yeah? Let's see that. Is it trustworthy? There are many people who were burning books. Even the Jews, they also burned the Christian books. So, if they burned the Christian books, then I'm able to say they wanted to hide the truth. So now, it's my word against your word. In the church, in the book of Acts, in the New Testament, people were willingly burning books that had spells and magical books, because they received Jesus Christ and they willingly came to burn them. So if you burn a book, you should investigate why is it burned, not just to the writer is actually having point from where he develops everything, and that point is destroy Christianity, find proofs to destroy, arguments also to destroy Christianity. And because he starts from that point, and that is his foundation of the whole book, he wants to make the church look bad because it burned books. But the reason why they were burned were because the Talmud contained, and it still contains, blasphemous words against Jesus Christ, calling him bastard son. They say that his mother was a prostitute, a harlot, and horrible things, even other things. It's in the Talmud. So because of that, and because the church history fathers, church fathers, they actually spoke of some of those heresies and those blasphemous stories, and I'll mention that further on. The church fathers were writing against those claims, which are false, and we can see it's only made up so that they could offend or destroy Christianity. So let's see the Talmud. Is it really reliable or not? So I wonder why the writer Tony Bushby, all of a sudden, he discredits every historical book and he calls the Talmud reliable. So, okay. Because of the first two quotes, which they are quoted out of context and with a bad intention, I'm not thinking to trust Tony Bushby in anything he says, because a liar is a liar. He can make up a lie, he can choose one part of truth, distort it, and persuade people that he is right. But we should not trust liars. Sorry to be so harsh, but sometimes people have to be faced so they can wake up. Okay, we have historical books from the 1st century, 2nd, 3rd century, and they describe things about Jesus Christ and their followers. And now, the Talmud says something that we can find in no other book, except in the Talmud. If the Talmud is speaking truth, there must be historical books that would prove that. There must be evidence. There must be people who saw it. Okay, one more thing. The Talmud have hate speech against Jesus Christ. The Talmud has hate speech against Gentiles. So, when a man hates someone else, out of hate, they would start lying. Let's say, if I hate you so much that I would love to offend you, I would call your mother prostitute, right? I would call you a bastard, right? And my intention is to offend you, to make you feel bad. And this is the way the Talmud talks about Jesus and the mother of Jesus Christ. So out of hate, I don't think anyone can speak the truth in a worthy manner. Let's see. Okay, this is what the Talmud says. Rabbi Akiba cunningly made Mary to admit how she got the child, and she said that the paranymph, that's something like the best man of the groom. So the best man had sex with Mary while she had separation, this cycle that happens with women. And she gave birth to Jesus. The names of Mary and Jesus are taken off because the Talmud was censored. But we know the text still remains there without the names, and we know it's for Jesus and for his mother. So I was researching to find when was Mary born and when did she die. I also wanted to know when did Rabbi Akiba born and when did he died. Because I find that suspicious. We know that this is hate speech and this is awful. Okay, how do I know this is hate speech? First, the Bible says you should not sleep with a woman while she has separation, because the one who would sleep with such a woman, he would be unclean. So Jews see this as something disgusting. And if a man sleep with such a woman, the man would also be disgusting, and they would stay away from such a man. And the child is also now unclean and disgusting because it was while she had separation, they had sex, and she got pregnant. So this is disgusting in the eyes of the Jews. So the one you hate, usually you want him to look so bad and disgusting so that you offend him. Okay, that's how I know this is hate speech. Okay, so Mary lived 16 BC to 48 AD. I found this on this website about Mary. Rabbi Akiba, he lived approximately 40 AD until 135, but he started learning the Torah and the traditions at the age of 40. That means around 80 AD. So, this means that he was not a rabbi before 80 AD. Akiba could not talk with Mary about the child. I don't think he was there. I don't think he met her. I don't think he had the wisdom to make such deception. Because the Talmud addresses him as Rabbi Akiba, who went with his, I don't know if it was a disciple or another rabbi. So they were both rabbis, and they went to Mary where she was selling something. And the rabbi asked Mary. But the thing is that 48 AD was the date when Mary died, and Rabbi Akiba was actually 80 years old at that time. He was not even a man, because I think at 9, the age of 9, Jews become men. So this is how we know that this is false. It's made up to ridicule and blaspheme Jesus. It has no historical value. It has no truth. Yeah, we can see other historical work, written manuscripts that actually speaks about Christianity, Christians, and Jesus. And we know about Flavius Josephus, Tacitus, Pliny the Younger, Julius Africanus and Thallus, Lucian of Samosata, Suetonius, and these historical manuscripts are more in line with the first century manuscripts of the early church fathers and the Bible, the New Testament. So, the Talmud does not have original or comprehensive reports of the life of Jesus. Only claims that are mostly hate speech against Jesus with no evidence. The Talmud references are of almost no value to the historian in his search for the historical Jesus. Okay, I think we should mention few verses from the Talmud so that we have an idea what kind of a book is the Talmud. So I don't want you to get me wrong. I'm not taking just bad verses to prove that the Talmud is a bad book. I'm trying to defend Christianity, and I'm trying to show that the Talmud does not have truth about Jesus Christ. Yeah, I have one more proof why the Talmud is not reliable for when it speaks about Jesus. Okay, when I'll get there, I'm gonna emphasize. Only Jews are human. Gentile women are designated animals. If a Gentile hits a Jew, the Gentile must be killed. Hitting a Jew is the same as hitting God. A heathen who keeps a day of rest, Shabbat, deserves death, for it is written, "Day and night they shall not rest." Whoa. A Jew need not pay a Gentile the wages owed him for work. When a Jew murders a Gentile, there will be no death penalty. What a Jew steals from a Gentile, he may keep. Jews may use lies to circumvent a Gentile. All Gentile children are animals. A Jew must destroy the books of the Christians. Okay, so Tony Bushby says that if Christians destroy books of, in this case the Talmud, that they are trying to hide the truth for Jesus. How about this now? Jews actually destroyed Christian books. They are trying to hide the truth, right? Also. I'm just speaking crazy according to the logic of the Bible fraud book. You can't just say, hey, this guy's trying to hide the truth, he's burning the evidence. Christians don't have anything to hide. They don't have anything to hide. It's you who are trying to hide You see, Jews may use lies to circumvent a Gentile. Okay, here's my point. If they may use lies against us, how can we trust that whatever they've written in the Talmud is truthful? It's not. They hate Jesus. They hate him today. The rabbis especially. Okay, Jews must... Okay, I already read this. Okay. A Jew may marry a three-year-old girl. A Jew may have sex with a child as long as the child is less than 9 years old. When a grown-up man has intercourse with a little girl, it is nothing. A woman who had intercourse with a beast is eligible to marry a Jewish priest. Maybe today the rabbis actually are against these things. But can we say the same for the rabbis who actually said these quotes? So I think that in the time when these traditions were brought up or made up for the first time, I think that this was really important for them. I don't want to bring hatred. God said we should love our enemies and bless those that curse us. And Jesus said that whoever blasphemes against Jesus shall be forgiven. Also, I don't hate the Jews. But I am horrified of the things that I read and some things that I heard about them. I don't hate them. Here Christians are praying for the salvation of Israel, because it is written, when the number of the Gentiles will come to fulfillment, then all Israel will be saved. So we are praying, we desire for their salvation, we desire for the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, one more comment, Elksai, and we're finishing this video. Book of Elksai. Tony Bushby, the writer, he's mentioning that there is no remaining of any kind of manuscript of this book of Elksai, but we can understand what it contained through Hippolytus. Hippolytus is a Christian father. I think he's 1st or 2nd century. 2nd century, I think. And Hippolytus wrote a book called Refutation to All Heresies. And in that book he speaks against Elksai. Again, how can you trust a people who can lie, but you don't trust Hippolytus who cannot lie? You know that Christians are forbidden to lie. Not just forbidden. Christians actually hate deception. And they fight to be truthful and honest and sincere. I didn't research anything else about Hippolytus and the Book of Elksai and those heresies. And I don't think I should. That's it for this session. And God bless you all, and keep on praying that even though these are actually good arguments and we are presenting the truth in its light and the way it's supposed to be, still I pray in my life and also in your lives that your faith will rely on the power of God. May you see it every day, and may your heart be excited because of the wonderful works that God makes. God bless you all. I hope you enjoyed this video.